I'm Monika. I'm Los Altos class of 2011. So when I was a freshman in Los Altos, which was 2007, 2008, I was going through a lot of mental health stuff. I was really depressed. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go to school. There were kids at school I didn't want to see, but also just the idea of waking up and going there was awful. Didn't turn in my homework, had a lot of absences, tardies. I just wasn't there. And teachers noticed, and they would always say, like, this isn't you. You're not this type of student. Even though they hadn't met me, they didn't really know what type of student I really was. That was kind of just a stereotype of me being South Asian, meaning I would be a productive student. But it became a behavioral problem that I wasn't going to school, and administration got involved, and I got called into Mrs. Satterwhite, our principal's office, a lot to talk about what my game plan was and what I was going to do. This started after I did attempt to take my own life, and when I was trying to adjust to going back to school, I just wasn't ready to go back. But I wasn't going. So she ended up talking to me about Alta Vista, and it was more of like a threat. If you didn't shape up, you didn't go to school, you didn't start actively participating in Los Altos life, we were just going to stick you in Alta where all the problem kids go. Basically where we won't care, we won't put your resources into you, and you don't want to be there. That was like the story you always got told. Is like, it was basically like going to prison. Like, you don't want to go to Alta. And that was always a threat. Like, we'll send you to Alta, we'll send you to Alta, we'll send you to Alta. And even one time, Miss Satterwhite told me that, you want to come, she actually came to my house, and I woke up and she was on my bed, and she was like, let's go to school. I'm here now. Next time it might be the police. Because that's apparently when you're a kid, you have to go to school, and if you don't, it's like against the law, and the police are gonna come get you. So that didn't make me want to go to school anymore. Then I already didn't want to go to school. And I was actually placed to go to Alta, but that was such an uproar with my mom that she kind of knew to speak up a little bit, and got me pulled out, and kind of got some more resources stuck my way. But I think that was because she knew to speak up. I think a lot of other kids that were at Alta, now that I'm looking back at it, they probably were going through similar stuff that I was going through. You don't know what a kid's going through and how that can play into how they're acting at school. Like, a problem child might not actually just be not caring. They might actually have something going on and need some resources, need some help. But those resources are pulled away when they're pushed into these alternative schools. And then, that whole problem followed me my whole 4 years of school. I was feeling better, I started going to school more. I did see CHAC at school, but again, that pulled me out of school, and it was just a problem that we didn't really talk about. And then towards the end of my school year, my time there, it was like time to go to a 4-year college, and everyone was just pushing for me to go to a 4-year. When you talk to your counselor, no one really asked what I wanted to do or how I felt, and I think...
Wait, hold on. There's a huge airplane. I'm gonna need you to cut back.
Okay.
10 seconds in the whole process. I hate those so much.
And Mon, you want to talk about the short time you were at Alta, how you felt like there were no resources, no one there and stuff like that?
Yeah, there you don't really have a choice. At Los Altos, you can kind of choose a little bit more of your classes, and your teachers are a little more engaging, and there's a little more options for you. There, it's just show up to school, there's more security presence, you feel like a problem, and you feel like you're not of value and you're not going to admit to anything. Like, I remember they used to tell me, like, you don't want to go to Ulta because you want to go to a 4-year. So you're not going to succeed in life if you go to this school. Which, like, what's that saying to kids? Like, when I was at school, I didn't really think much of it. And then the older I got, the more I looked back and saw that, like, really they were just telling the kids, like, that was a problem and you weren't going to succeed because you went to this place. Instead of saying, like, hey, looks like you're not doing well in this environment. Is there a different environment we can give you? Like, how can we help you? Which is what school really should be about, and what I think Los Altos prides itself on being. They say we give all these resources to our students and we're really inclusive, but how is that being shown in practices like that? And yeah, I think definitely when you're there, you feel like you're not important and you're not going to succeed. And then when I went back to Los Altos, like I said, it was a really short time. And a lot of me doesn't remember all of it. As I was saying, I was dealing with a lot of mental health stuff. So a lot of my high school time is really blurred in my brain. But when I went back, I ended up getting better, I guess. And I did end up graduating. But then again, I had missed a lot of school. And to make up for the time so I could walk, summer school was placed in my hands. And like, again, too, that was like, well, you don't really want to do summer school so you can do adult ed, and that's more one-on-one, and that's more like resources and stuff like that. And I think there were a lot of other kids that I was in school with that were in the same kind of boat I was in, where they weren't really doing well in school and they were just pushed for summer school, and they, like, those same options that were given to me weren't given to other kids, and I saw it. And I don't really know why those options were given to me. Like, I just assumed I would be a success story or something like stupid like that is what my sister and I were talking about. It was more things were placed on, you have an Asian family at home, so they're probably pressuring you, and that's why you feel this pressure. So it's like people were telling me why I wasn't doing well. They were telling me why this wasn't, like, I wasn't thriving in this environment, and it was all tied to because I was South Asian. And then the same way, because I was South Asian, I think a lot of other resources were given to me because they thought I would achieve a lot and I would end up going to a 4-year. And on paper, I graduated from Los Altos High School and I was supposed to go to San Jose State, but I was not prepared to go to a 4-year. The Los Altos School District did not prepare me to go to college and be successful, and ended up dropping out. And I think if we give kids more viable resources and tell them, like, community college is okay, or not going to school is okay, it's working is okay, no matter what their background is, that shouldn't determine where they're going to go and what they're going to do with life from high school. So at the end of the day, I think our district really fails a lot of its students.